Hello all. Thank you for joining. My name is Selina, and I'm one of the money mentors here at Women's Wealth. And I'm joined for this conversation today by my wonderful colleague, Siafra. So, give us a wave, Siafra.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, Finance on Friday is a Women's Wealth broadcast where we spend half an hour talking through some of the latest information and views about topics that matter to our members. Feel free to contribute to today's session, and we thank you for your input. We welcome questions and comments via the chat box, and also feel free to pull on your camera and just join in the conversation as well. And we'll be monitoring the chat box and the comments throughout as we go along. It is important to just say that we can't offer bespoke financial advice here, as we just wouldn't have the time to get to know enough about you to make that possible. But we are happy to tackle things on a more general level. So if you could keep the questions general, that would be awesome. And today I'm looking forward to talking to you about financial well-being. And it would be great if any of you will be willing to share your ideas or tips for improving financial well-being with us today. But before we begin, I do have a question for you all. What was the last thing you did that you felt boosted your financial well-being? So do come off mute if you feel happy to, or do put your answers in the chat. What was the last thing you did that you felt boosted your financial well-being? I can share. I don't want to dominate the conversation, but I can share. Oh, okay. Someone said cancelled and downgraded some subscriptions. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I like that idea. Sometimes it's good to look through all of your subscriptions and just make sure that they're all useful. Kelly, you said pick the right time to change my currency. Okay, that's a win. Absolutely. We want to make sure that we are getting the best value for any currency changes that we do. And Shifa's put, use an app to manage my expenses. Yeah, so I like that idea as well. Those apps, those money apps are really quite useful. And Sam's put, decided to buy a family experience as a Christmas present rather than individual prezzies. I think that's a win. If it's something that a family member absolutely wants and is going to treasure more than, maybe some sort of item that they might not really want or need, I think that's a really good thing to do. And Dee, thank you. You said you've opened a stocks and shares ISA and opened a new money app. So well done you. That's wonderful. I think for me, going to sound a bit dreary, but I paid off a parking ticket. I was going to dispute it, but then I thought to myself, I might as well just pay it off, get it off of my to-do list, get it off of my mind, rather than going through and trying to have a wrangle with them. So yeah, I feel much better for doing that. But yeah, I really love all of those answers. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm going to talk about what financial well-being is. And if we have enough time, I want to ask you what financial well-being means to you, because we're all very different here, probably at different stages when it comes to our financial journey. And the things that make us feel financially well might be very, very different. I'm also going to talk about um, our well-being in general and how financial well-being sits amongst the different elements that make us feel well in general. So I'm going to talk about, our career, our social kind of wellness, and how financial well-being sits in and slots us and impacted by all of those things. And then I'm going to hand over to my lovely colleague Shifra, who's going to share some hints and tips with us about how we can, continue to build our financial well-being and how we can improve that as well. So, financial wellness is a measure of how well a person manages their financial life. And improving financial wellness is about practicing better money habits, setting goals as well. It's really important to understand, okay, what are our financial goals that improves our well-being, and then also taking the steps and aims to achieve those goals. And ultimately, improving our overall financial well-being can have an impact on our overall financial life as well. Not just financial life, our overall life as well. So important to think about that. And for me, financial well-being is often broken down into two parts. So, number one is how you're feeling and doing financially right now. So, are you financially resilient today? Can your finances and your financial plan handle any knocks to your financial resilience? So, any financial shocks, such as, not being able to work due to ill health or redundancy, having to take time out of of work, or having to maybe leave a toxic work environment or something like that, or just a general financial emergency, such as your boiler breaking down randomly. And often when I do financial well-being talks, I do ask a question. So let me know if you feel like answering this question. If you had to spend £800 today for some sort of financial emergency, would you be financially okay? So do put in the comments if you just got sent a bill for £800, would you be okay right now in the moment? So how is your financial robustness right now? And then the second part of financial well-being is being able to plan for the future. So yeah, Sam said, yes, I have an emergency fund. Brilliant. Good, good. We always like to hear about an emergency fund. And also, if any of you are existing women's wealth clients, you know that we always ask our clients to put that emergency fund in place to build that financial resilience. Roanna, you said it would come out of my emergency fund, which is what it's there for, but it did take a long time to build. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is a process to build up our financial well-being and our financial resilience. So, you know, well done you. But it is an important building block. So making sure that we are financially robust right now, but also that vision of ourselves, that version of ourselves in the future where we're unable to perhaps work, or not unable to perhaps work, where we make the decision to stop working when we get to retirement as well. We need to think about that version of ourselves in the future as well. So, you know, the second part of being financially well is planning for the financial future. And that could be short term, pre-retirement. So it could be that we want to go on a sabbatical from work you know, in 5 years' time. Have we planned for that? We might want to start a business. Some of our clients are business owners and run businesses. They would have had to plan ahead to do that. And then also ultimately when it comes to retiring, are we putting plans in place to make sure that we are financially robust in the future? So that's a bit of a definition of financial wellness. It's about now, but also about in the future. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that our financial well-being plays a part of our overall well-being as well. So being financially well is you know, a good idea, but also being holistically well, there are different elements, and financial well-being plays one of five in total elements for financial wellness. And there's a book called Wellbeing by Rath and Harter, and they've done some research on what makes us what makes us well in general, and financial well-being is part of that. But also some other elements. And the reason why I bring up these elements is because we don't make financial decisions in a vacuum. There are all of these different influences on what makes us human, what makes us feel well. So yeah, so that's why it's really important to think about the other influences on our financial well-being. So the first element is about how you occupy your time, or if you simply like what you do every day. So your career well-being. So how many of you are in a career that makes you feel like, you know, this is wonderful? How many of you have the remunerations that you want for your career and feel happy with what you're earning? Because that has a direct link into our financial well-being. The second element is about having strong relationships and love in your life, so your social well-being as well. So our relationships with others. Sam mentioned about the fact that she's brought a gift that her family member will really cherish, and sometimes we have those pulls on us when it comes to our finances as well. Also, you know, the third element is about effectively managing your economic life, so your financial well-being, and these things have an impact on all of that. The fourth element is about having that good physical health, and a lot of times we are directing some of our finances to staying physically fit. We might be paying for a gym membership. We might be paying for other elements that keep us physically fit as well. And then the final element is about community well-being. So I add all of those elements just to say we aren't making financial decisions in a vacuum. There are all of these influences on us. The research showed that 66% of people were doing very well in at least one of these areas. Obviously, we're talking about financial well-being, so we're hoping that a lot of those people were doing well in their financial well-being, but only 7% of people were thriving in all of those areas. And sometimes if we are struggling in some of those domains, it can have an impact on us and how well we feel in general. But the good news is we can create a thriving career, social, financial, physical, and community kind of well-being because these elements are within our control and we have the ability to improve them. So, for example, when it comes to our spending habits, we can decide to forego something for now if we know that in the future we're going to reap the benefits, or we can really enjoy the things that we plan for if we know that a year ahead we've got a concrete and solid plan to make what we want, what will give us maybe social well-being, what will give us physical well-being if we planned for that and got a clear plan in place for it. So like I said, I say all this to say that, we don't make financial decisions in a vacuum. And there are also all of these other pools that we need to kind of think about as well. And I wanted to ask, with that in mind, um, if anyone's willing to share, what kind of things make you feel really financially well? Not just, doing the financial things, but knowing that you've planned for something really well financially. Let me know in the comments if there is anything that you can think of. I can start. I mean, for me, one of the things that I love to do is concerts. So I went to a concert just last week, actually. I love music. I love seeing live artists. And it doesn't mean that I can go to all of them that I want. I really want to go to see Usher. He's doing a world tour. I see lots of videos on YouTube with him performing, but his tickets are so expensive. So I've had to sit that one out, but I was able to go for another concert that made me feel really good because I'm still getting to do the things that I love, but it's just a little bit more affordable at this time in my life. So do share if you can. Oh, yes. Shifa's saying, looking forward to being mortgage free. Feels like a major milestone. That is fantastic. When will that happen? Let us know. Um,
Should be next year.
fantastic. Yes. Goodness. Well done, well done. Samantha said, holidays, I plan big 1 years ahead. New Zealand in November 2025 is the current project. Yeah, absolutely. It feels so much better if we've got a plan for these things that we know that we love and enjoy, that feeds our overall financial well-being. So do let us know if you've got any plans. Also, do let us know if there is anything that you've had to say no to. I see a lot of articles written about, particularly over the summer when it's kind of wedding season and everyone's having these weddings abroad. And we have to sometimes make difficult decisions about whether or not to go for these weddings that our best friends are having abroad or not. Just an example, but do let us know in the comments. Um, I'm now going to hand over to Shifra with all of so that we can get all of her hints and tips about how we can stay financially well.
Okay, thank you very much, Selina. And yeah, no, looking forward to hearing a little bit more from you guys. I'm certainly not planning to suggest everything. I'm hoping again that you're going to continue with the suggestions and things that you guys have got. So thank you very much for the contributions so far. So yes, I just want to talk, yeah, so some of the hints around financial well-being, and most of these actually are really behavioral. So if we change some of our behaviors and we can change some of our behaviors, we will generally improve our financial well-being. So the first thing we do is it's something is called nudging, where we try to sort of automate or sort of again make that habit a very, that behavior a habit to sort of, improve our well-being. So particularly this is very, very useful for when we're thinking about savings and investing. Is so what are the things that we can do to sort of automate and so that we're not even thinking about um, you know, the actual behavior to get it sort of embedded. So maybe I'll start with one. But normally in everything is the way that we pay for pensions is something that we don't really think about. The employer actually takes it away before it's even hit our pay package, and it immediately goes into our pension. So you never really ever see the money, and you never really feel that that money's there. So that's I always think is a really good way of where you can sort of set an automatic way to be investing on a regular basis. And again, obviously, there's an automatic for auto enrollment. Obviously, we have to be contributing 8%, but you could set that as a higher amount. You can actually contribute a bit more to your pension. So I just think that's like a really nice example of where you can automate things. Anybody got other automatic ways that they're sort of saving money that they want to talk about, or any even other habits that they've got where they've sort of automated the process so much that sort of become habitual and they don't even think about it?
I've
No?
got some options. Sorry. So
Yeah, go
number
ahead,
one would
Selena. Yeah.
be, there's lots of apps that allow that just round up some of the pennies, and now these apps they allow you to round up and then also invest. So it's a really easy way of not thinking about it, not consciously doing something good. So you're not even having to think about it, but you know that you're building your kind of emergency fund or your investments because these apps now kind of push a lot of investing. So I think that's a really good tool. Another thing that I know that my mum used to do with her circle of friends, she used to do something called a partner. So, and how that works is like you're collectively saving. So all of her and her friends would put in some money each month, and someone got that money out each month as well. So that collected pool of money. So, and once you're in that partner scheme, you're kind of committed. So you're committed to do that saving, that addition. You don't want to be the one that doesn't
That
contribute.
doesn't
So
contribute.
yeah, so yeah, there's two examples that I thought of.
Great. Yeah. No, and I think those are really, really good. So again, this automation really works well for sort of, yeah, as I said, savings and investments. So Carolyn also, she put some savings into an account. And as she said, so again, it takes the money in so she doesn't really miss it when it's already gone. So that's a really, really good way. So, and I think again, when we're thinking about investing, and I think probably one of the major changes I have had in my sort of own financial journey is that I think I used to, when I was sort of younger, think about I'd pay for my essential expenditure and then I'd have my lifestyle. And if anything left was the savings. And I think I've just sort of really tipped that on my head. And now I think, no, you pay for your investments first, you then cover your essential expenditure, and then whatever's left is your lifestyle spending. And I think just having that really major change in sort of thought process actually has really helped me start to build wealth so that now hopefully I will be able to pay that mortgage off soon. So that's I think it's a really good way. So think of nudge and think of anything that can nudge you to help you make the right decisions and build sort of the right habits. So the next sort of hint that we've got, Sam has another one. She's collecting points or loyalty points. Yeah, it's a good idea. And she spends them at Christmas and time, things like that. Yeah. And I suppose, yes, we all have, some of us have got cards. I think boots are, I often get quite surprised. I'm paying for things in boots and all of a sudden I get purchase free and everything. I'm like, oh, yes, I forgot. You just sort of doing things automatically. So that's a great way to do things. So yeah, so the next area is around sludging. So we've nudging, which is all around good behaviors, and sludging is all around creating friction and barriers to basically stop us from doing things which actually are quite hurtful for our own, so for our own sort of financial well-being. So again, what I'm going to ask you guys is for some examples. But yeah, so I have definitely, and I think we all have our own weakness. I love shops, I love clothes myself, and that's probably a weakness area for me. And so, for example, there are just some shops I don't go to because I just know the sales process is too slick. So, if I go, I try and go very, very infrequently. Otherwise, I know I'm going to spend too much money. So again, that's just sort of thinking that. Or I bring a friend who will keep me, under control, be really honest about my purchases, or things like just leave things in a basket. And again, so I'm just trying to be a little bit more disciplined. So, and again, that's a hard one for me. I hope there's some other humans out here on the call today that feel my pain as well. So Carolyn, you're doing the same as me. So you leave something in an online basket for a few days. Because I think, yeah, it's to try and stop that impulse. If we can say, right, if I still feel about the same thing in 48 hours or something, or even a week or something, or has it just kind of come and gone, the sort of the feeling? So I think, yeah, so shopping for me, spending, and particularly clothes shopping, as I said, is the one that I've sort of really worked on over the years. So
I've
any
got
other
a
examples?
really, I've got a really
Oh,
nice
go
one. It
ahead.
was one of our clients, Siafra, and
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
she had promised to go on a holiday with her mum who wanted to visit the Ganges. It was part of their cultural heritage on a particular birthday, but she'd overspent and couldn't go. And she was mortified by missing this. And of course, she saw the pictures and heard all the stories. So one of the beautiful pictures of her mum on, on the Ganges was then put on the drawer of a dresser in which she kept her credit cards. So it then reminded her each time she liberated one of the cards for a purpose that she had to think about the opportunity cost of what she was spending, what she might be giving up by using that card, so that she just reminded herself of the mistake she'd made once before and how much she then went on to regret it. And I thought that was a really lovely, emotional way of
Yeah.
connecting what you want in the future to kind of just put a bit of friction in place of like an impulse or a compulsive move. So I liked that one.
Yeah, no, that is lovely. And it is, I think, again, rather than just maybe beating ourselves up, I think, as you said, it was a learning, and we have to think of ways of how we can, these things that are happening to us, and what we can do to sort of stop the, to sort of improve the sort of the behavior for us ourselves. So, as I said, yeah, I mean, even as financial advisors said, as I said, I can't ever say that I never make an impulse purchase, but I definitely think that I'm getting better at sort of controlling those impulses over time. So it's just definitely a working progress. So Izzy's doing something here. Yeah, so it's just around about buying a house. Yeah, some people have a house, again, I have clothes. I know some people just love things for the house. My sister loves decorations. We're obviously coming up to Christmas, and she just goes mad. She has like millions of Christmas trees and decorations. She goes mad at Halloween, and so well, any little seasonal thing she loves to celebrate. So we've all got these things that we're trying to do, but obviously, yeah, Izzy's trying to again really think about, keeping to her budget and really reflecting hard about something. Um, yeah. Oh, Sam's, yeah, disconnected her card from an Amazon. Absolutely. It's too easier to press. Yeah, I don't ever save my account details and anything. So I think, again, that's another way just to slow that impulse time, because again, it's got so fast. The payment ways and everything is obviously everything has speeded up. So in terms of, Klarna, again, easy payments here and there. So they're constantly looking for ways, these kind of shops, to sort of bombard our senses and make us feel like that we really needs that there. So yeah, so I think there's some great examples there of how we can think about using sludge as a technique to create that friction and that barrier. And then the last area that I just want to talk to you about is again around accountability, um, by setting goals, maybe and also sharing those goals can help you. So, Selina, your example earlier, you were saying, what was it? Was it proverb? Did I get the name of it right?
Oh,
Joining a
yeah, a partner. So yeah, it's called.
partner, sorry.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
that
that's really, because actually
accountability.
in a way the group is keeping you accountable. Not only, as you said, it sort of, it's a nudge, but
Yeah.
it's also the group probably effect of that is also sort of really helpful. And it's a bit like, I think, if you go to a gym, maybe if you have a personal trainer or something like that, or you go with a friend or something like that, each of you sort of can keep yourself accountable, because we all have days where we're not feeling great and we go off track a little bit. So I think that accountability is sort of it's a great way. So certainly people use us like that sometimes, particularly people are working on debt, or trying to reduce debt, or again help manage expenses. Sometimes they'll ask us to sort of just have a monthly check-in with them. So, and we're here again to sort of keep the going, buoy them up, try and remind them of the vision that they're trying to create for themselves. So yeah, so if you remembering everything is you either use a friend or you can use a coach. Again, financial coaches are also, I think, very good for that. But I think having a really clear vision, and sometimes I think we have people, our clients come to us and they don't have that really clear vision about what they're trying to achieve. So if you really know what you want to achieve, like I said, we really wanted to pay the mortgage off, all of a sudden that really focused the mind for us. And again, having a date for that, again, making that sort of that goal very, like, what we call smart, specific, measurable, kind of, so all of those things are really important if you want to really make that goal actually happen for yourself. So that's what I would say is the key areas. And just in everything is in terms of, we've kind of covered some of these before, but well-being, as I said, generally items don't improve our well-being, but experiences generally do actually normally. So like Sam's example of buying, and again, an experience for her family rather than just buying maybe some stuff, which probably people won't remember, what was bought last Christmas is actually often boosting our well-being. In the same way, spending on others. So maybe perhaps giving to charity, or always, I think we always feel better spending on our friends and family and things like that. So spending on other people is actually brings us much more, as I said, boosts our financial well-being. Whereas actually a lot of research has been done which basically says that, yes, spending on items, you will get a very quick fix, but it won't be lasting. And what we're all about is really trying to boost that financial well-being for the long term. So I think we're coming up to time. But I like that. Carolyn's also put in a little a blog here, which also links to maybe financial well-being that you can also have a look at. So, look, I hope you found the session useful today. Here we've got some questions. So we've got a question: if you've got some debt, is it better to clear that first before saving? So that's a really good question, Adelina. So sort of my view on that and everything is different types of debt, good debt and bad debt. So the bad debt would be sort of things like credit cards and things like that. And so on that, generally, even if you're paying without interest, you're still having to move things around. And I would say try and clear that debt really as quickly as possible. Even as I said, if you've got a good credit card, because I think at some point in time that deal is going to run out. And I think again it's around creating the right sort of behaviours. We shouldn't be really using bad debt. Bad debt is not good for anybody really. But I think yes, there is a concept back where you can invest and you'll get more money back for the return that you would be seeing in terms of the interest even. It's something which we call either leveraging yourself or using gearing, it's called. But it's I think we always have to think about there is a risk to investing, whereas again, as paying off any sort of debt, there is no risk involved to that. So that just reduces your risk. Whereas investing, although yes, there is a chance for higher return, there is also the chance of, there is still the risk. There's no risk, obviously, in paying off debt. So those are the things that we'd be thinking about. And again, if you ever wanted to go and talk to us about that and your individual circumstances, then we can certainly provide more information to you on that. So anyway, look, so I hope you found it useful. If you want to join Women's Wealth, obviously for free, you can certainly do that by signing up for our Enable service. And as I said, we do these sessions and other sessions like our Ask the Advisor sessions. We've got courses on things like how to invest. And again, this one, financial wellbeing, we also run this also as a more detailed course. Just to remind you, we're authorised and regulated independent financial planners. And as I said, if for those of you that like to have more personalised service, you can always upgrade your membership to the level that's sort of appropriate for you. So as I said, if you want to ever come and talk to us further, then, just book some time through the website. Quick reminder of some dates kind of coming forward. The next Finance on Friday, I think, is Friday the 13th of January. So that'll be at 12 o'clock. And the next Ask the Advisor session is going to be 13th of March at 7 p.m. So for that one, you can, if you want a question, just email it through to www.womens-wealth.co.uk again, or just show up on the day and I'll ask you questions there for whatever's burning for you. So so no, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you found it useful and we look forward to seeing you at our next event.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, take care
Bye.
then. Bye bye. Have a good weekend.